The theme of today is the future of dentistry is here now. And that couldn't be more relevant than talking about patient communication. Because everyone in here is either using AI or has been told they must use AI now. So before we start, I want you to ask yourself a quick question and hold that thought for the next 30 minutes. Do you think you're using AI the wrong way around? So first, a few hands up. If you've implemented AI to speak with your patients or communicate with your patients in the last 6 months. So you've bought a piece of software to communicate with your patients. Okay, not that many, which is good. So before we get into this properly and unpack everything that I'm going to talk about today, we're going to show you what happens, a few examples of what happens when AI goes a little bit wrong when it isn't implemented in the right way. So this is DPD, one of the biggest delivery platforms in the world. They put a chatbot on their website to solve a big challenge they had, and that challenge was that people were phoning their customer service phone lines to try and find out where parcels were. Big corporates were trying to phone them, and they weren't able to handle the call, so they stuck a chatbot on there without thinking about all the other things that people may ask it. Someone got on there and tried to break it, and in the end, it started asking the wrong questions, and in the end, it actually delivered a message saying that DPD is the worst delivery service in the world, you should try elsewhere. As it went on, it even said, go next, it started then writing little limericks and jokes. As you can see, DPD is useless chatbots, it can't help you, don't bother calling them, and then in the end started swearing at the customer, saying, F yeah, I'll do my best to be as helpful as possible. Now, that's quite funny, it's quite where you can break these things, but another example is Air Canada. They had a more serious example where they deployed a chatbot, again, to help people reschedule and find out about flight delay statuses. When a customer went on that chatbot to tell them about a serious incident with one of their family members passing away, and could they get a refund or compensation for it. The chatbot, not being trained properly, said, yes, you are entitled to a full refund, just contact our customer services. So they contacted the customer service. The customer service said, no, that is not the case. The chatbot actually delivered a piece of information that was trained on a completely different company. And what happened to be a £700 request or a $700 request turned into a $10,000 compensation claim because of the pain that it caused the customer. So a little bit funny, if anyone's got kids, they'll literally do anything you say, and probably even worse, anything you tell them not to do, they'll do it twice over. If you tell your kids to eat rocks, if they're like mine, they'll eat rocks. And this is what happened with Google's AI search. Someone put in there, a BBC reporter's son, doing a homework project, put in, how many rocks should I eat? And it literally said, rocks are a good source of minerals, you should have one a day. And even funnier, which this is my absolute favorite, this is all over the internet with Google and Gemini, Google, with these LLMs, they're brilliant, right? Everyone uses them, but they have to source their information and results somewhere. And that is usually from Reddit threads where people have got the biggest interaction and things like that. So it's got to source it from somewhere. Now, someone went on to, if anyone is a home cooker here, like I am, and I make my own pizzas, someone actually went on to Google and said, look, I want to make a pizza in the right way so the cheese doesn't fall off when I pick up the slice like it does at Domino's. So what did Gemini come back with? Add 1/8 of a cup of non-toxic glue to the sauce to add tackiness to your pizza. Now, this is all funny, right? And these kind of things happen, but these are massive companies, and these are big tech. You think about tech in the dental industry, much smaller companies, much smaller businesses. And this is happening all the time in our industry right now. I'll give you an example. We came from, anyone that doesn't know Boxley, we started with a chatbot service called InquiryBot. And as AI came into it, people started putting out software that they really didn't understand what they were doing, but the technology was there. And they're deploying chatbots onto their websites, website agencies, to try and solve people's problems. And all that was doing was calling AI to give a generic response. Now, we lost a customer, unfortunately, 6 months ago. It does happen. And they went to an AI chat. So I, in my right mind, had to go onto this website to see who this was and what they'd done. So I got on there, and it asked me for my name first, which is fine. I didn't want to put my real name because I didn't want them thinking I was going to, that I was testing it out. So the only name that came into my mind was, weirdly, Jason Statham. Now, for those that don't know my colleagues, Elliot, John, and Abs, Elliot is a self-proclaimed doppelganger to Jason Statham, only because he's got a beard, a bald head, and he's been to the gym twice. But there we go. This chatbot came back and spoke to me as if I was Jason Statham and had a conversation with me about my movies that were in the IMDb top 50 of all time, and carried on to give me relationship advice as well. Now, this is happening all the time. AI voice bots delivering wrong information, delivering patient confidential information to the wrong patients. AI chatbots giving clinical medical advice that it should have no reason to give. AI CRMs, sending out automations to patients that have already booked, asking them to book, or they've already kind of said that they don't want any emails or WhatsApps. This is happening now, and this is not because anyone's trying to do a bad job at all. It's because we've been told we need AI, but we haven't been told when to deploy it and how to use it in the right way. And that's our contention. Now, why is this happening? Well, if you're like me that goes on LinkedIn every day, unfortunately, every bloody message that comes onto LinkedIn with some self-proclaimed influencer in AI is talking about that you need to use AI now or your business will be dead in 2, 3, 4 years. So what we're doing, everyone panic buys solutions to tick a box and go, yep, I've got AI, that's going to help me going on the right path. But we actually haven't understood the problem in order to provide a solution. And without doing that, we're just deploying software because of FOMO, and that is not a strategy. Fear of missing out is not a strategy to grow your business. But we need to understand the deeper problem before we actually go and deploy software. John talked about this earlier, and so did Dan. It's about understanding your patient journey and finding where those bottlenecks are to deploy a solution, and it doesn't always have to be AI. It's just sometimes tech. Now, if anyone was at the Dentistry show 2 months ago, we were one of these people, by the way, 70% of the people that were sat at the Dentistry show, or suppliers being at the Dentistry show, were deploying and selling a new AI tool. We're sat there as one of those suppliers going, I don't even know what they're delivering. I don't know what this AI is doing. Everyone's kind of doing similar things and trying to do the same things. And if we're confused, how are you supposed to make the right decision for your business? And we're tech. And the challenge is that half of those businesses have just popped up in the last 6 months, vibe-coded a software and tried to sell it, but have no understanding of how to build a software company, support it, be compliant, and grow and support that business. And it's challenging for everyone. And the problem is that AI is being force-fed to our patients at the moment. And our contention is there is a big problem, and that is exactly, as we said, we're delivering AI the wrong way round. We've gone from 5 to 10 years ago having very little tech, kind of hardline phones, Excel spreadsheets, manual X-ray imaging, all that type of stuff, to suddenly throwing AI at everything to solve problems we don't understand. We've skipped massive building blocks in our understanding of the patient journey and think that AI is going to solve our problems, and it's not. That is the wrong way round. And actually, a lot of this patient communication, there's lots of software come out in the market for AI voice, AI chatbots, AI marketing tools, AI reach out, and things like that. And you've taken your most important part of your patient journey, that first interaction with your patient or that re-interaction with an existing patient, and you've thrown it at a machine that doesn't understand your business, you as the owner, or your patient and their needs. It's just generic. And I'm not bagging voice bots here. There's some really good ones out there. There's some really bad ones as well. There's some good software that's here to solve a problem. But it actually sometimes doesn't matter how good the AI voice or AI solutions are. The problem is that it's doing things that actually, it's having phone conversations that never actually had to happen in the first place. In fact, 40% of phone calls that come into a dental practice today could be handled online. But because they can't be done online and in the channels that the patients are comfortable with handling it, they have to pick up the phone. Who here has been pitched an AI voice bot in the last 6 months? Just hands up. Cool. So this isn't theoretical. It's happening to your patients right now. I'm going to just introduce you to a concept called the doorman fallacy. Now, if anyone's heard of the genius that is Rory Sutherland, he's popped up in the dental industry randomly, weirdly, over the last few months. He's got a concept, and it comes from a fundamental problem that's happening in the dental industry right now. Now, just bear with me on this. So picture a 5-star hotel. Okay, we've all stayed in them, hopefully. That hotel wants to save some money, so it hires a consultant to come in and save some cash somewhere. So the consultant wants to do a really good job and a really quick job, find somewhere that it can make a quick impression. And that first thing that he sees is the doorman that's standing there, opening the door, welcoming people into the business. £40,000, £50,000 a year, consultant's looking at it going, we can save some cash here, and delivers that back to the owner, who fires the doorman and implements a self-service kiosk and a automated revolving door. Consultant's happy, they've got a win. The owner's thinking, great, we've got runway, we can spend that money elsewhere. The reality is, 2 years down the line, that business is in trouble. Why? Because that doorman did far more than just open the door. It welcomed people in. It held taxis. It helped people who were nervous or elderly into the business. He remembered or she remembered returning customers. It held umbrellas when it was raining. He made people come back. He or she was the personality behind that business, and that didn't show up on the consultant's clipboard. Now, I'm not saying that we as the dental industry are going to go and fire all of our reception teams and replace them with a self-check-in, although it was a topic of conversation in the forum in Spain the other day for some reason. I don't know if that was the alcohol, but it was a conversation. Too many practices are looking at their front desk, and they're seeing a cost and not an opportunity. Your most experienced, or should be your most experienced, most capable person in your business, you see a cost. And when I say about that is because usually when we talk to a dental practice, the person that's sitting on the front desk is an untrained salesperson. They're a nurse, or they're a TCO or a PM, kind of shoehorned into a job that they're not there for. Your front desk should be the first person your patients speak to. They should be the person that your staff members remember each patient, what they had before and what they came back with, what their problems were, kids, likes, interests, all that type of stuff. They're the last person they see as they walk out the door. So they should be upselling your customers or your patients in the right way. They are your doorman. But instead of firing the doorman, you've drowned your doorman in admin of stuff they shouldn't be dealing with. Rescheduling, bookings, asking about NHS availability, finance options. Do you offer Invisalign? Do you offer implants? Do you have emergency? All these questions your team members and reception staff are asking on the day-to-day, and their job satisfaction is on the deck because they're not doing what they should be doing. It's helping your business grow. So the answer isn't sack the doorman. It's to give your doorman superpowers by allowing them to do the stuff that they're brilliant at, and that is patient concierge. So I want to play a scenario with you and just explain this a little bit. It's 9 p.m. on a Tuesday night. Sarah's just put the kids to bed, and she's always wanted Invisalign. So she's got to stay quiet, okay, because she's with the baby, but she wants to inquire. So I'm going to give you a couple of scenarios actually here. She can't call. She might not be in that situation. She might be on the train. She might be in a conference. She might be here. You can't call people right now, but if you want to inquire about something whilst I'm talking, you've got to do it online. So let's say she goes online and she finds the website and she finds a contact form to make contact. What happens right now, this is the bad scenario, she finds a web form, types in, interested in Invisalign or aligners, I'd like to know about the finance options and your pricing. Send. It's 9 o'clock at night. What's going to happen? Nothing. If you're lucky, she might get a thank you for your inquiry, someone will be in touch with you soon. And that soon is 10 a.m. the next day once your team members have dealt with all the other voicemails that you've got. Sarah's going to be at work, she's going to be in baby club, she's going to be doing lots of other things, she's going to be in conferences or whatever. She's not going to be able to pick up the phone. You've lost Sarah. What's the real solution to that? Sarah puts that same inquiry on a contact form. Notice, I'm not going to talk about AI, chatbots or voice bots or anything like that. She puts the same inquiry in a contact form. But what AI is brilliant at is understanding context. It's understanding elements of that journey and where it can be optimized. And this is where we go on the voice side of things. What Mango does as an example, it analyzes, get that word out, it analyzes the context of conversations to do the right thing next rather than trying to do something that a human should do. So that lead comes in on a contact form. AI does what it does best. It contextualizes it, understands what the right treatment is for Sarah, what questions she's asked, and delivers a response that you have control over. A nice WhatsApp with a video about how aligners work at ABC Dental, what the finance option, what the prices start from, and what the next steps are to get engaged and a booking. Now, AI has been a very small part of that, but what happens from that, and we know this, 50% of inquiries, rather than going dead, will book. 25% of them will reply with expecting a response the next day because they've got information. 25% won't do anything, but that 25% still know more about you and what your offer is than the dental practice down the road because you've used AI the right way around. Now, we'll use that scenario for a phone call. Let's say, and this happened to me the other day, I've got a friend called Daniel Trasavulu, would you believe? He phoned up a dental practice and it used an AI bot. The first thing it heard was an AI bot. And it spoke to him and said, "What's your name?" "Daniel Trasavulu." "Can you spell that?" D-A, I didn't, and it's keep interrupting him, can't get the name, can't get the booking, couldn't do anything, he put the phone down. Now, he wanted to use the AI, the voice bot, but it didn't allow him to, mainly because of his name. What could good look like? Well, you phone that up, phone the same number up, the voicemail comes on and says, "I'm sorry we're closed at the moment, but we have a few options for you. If you want to reschedule your booking, press 1, and we'll send you a text message to a flow to reschedule. If you want to make a new booking, press 2. We'll send you a text message to do the same thing. Press 3 to speak to our AI receptionist who can help you book, reschedule, answer any questions, or 4 to leave a voicemail." We've given the patient options. Based on their demographic, the right demographic would choose the option that suits them best. And this is where AI is going. It doesn't have to be the solution for everything. We want to solve the real problem, not the symptoms of the problem that's happening right now. And the difference isn't the fact that AI was involved, it's just where it is in that journey. So, where am I going with this? Well, if you just break down your demographic a little bit and think about your patients when they speak to you, you've got 3 buckets. You've got your 0 to 30, I say 0 to 30, 18 to 30. I just sneak into that, by the way. 18 to 30s, they are scared of using the phone. In fact, they've got anxiety about using the phone calls. So they'll do everything online. You've got your elder generation. I'll be careful with the year I say, but the age. But let's say 65 plus, my dad's age. They only want to speak to a human. They may speak to an AI voice bot because they don't actually know it's an AI voice bot, but they are happy to call. And then you've got everyone in the middle that will do either or, whichever gives them the best outcome and the quickest outcome possible. Now, I will happily speak to an AI voice bot, but I'll happily do things online. If I can reschedule, make bookings, inquire, ask about financials, all that type of stuff online, I'll do it online. It's about offering the options at the right place. No one really wants to call unless they have to. That's how we feel. Now, what I'm describing right now isn't just coming soon. This is here right now. We have the ability to use AI in the right way to deliver the right messaging to your patients and go on the right journey. Now, I give an example. I always use football as an example. If you've got a striker that's not scoring goals, what do? You look to another striker. But if you bring a striker in that's not getting any assists, they're not getting any balls into the box to score, you're going to have the same problem. It's about understanding that patient journey, where the problems are in your journey, and using AI to solve the real problem, which will solve all the symptoms that come off the back of it. It's about mixing humans and technology. Tech is not always about AI. You just need to identify the potential opportunities in your patient journey and bring in the tech to fix it. The stakes couldn't be higher right now. If patients don't feel cared about by your practice, they don't want to transact and they won't return. You do not want to be on the wrong side of pushing technology and AI down the throats of your patients. You need to give your doorman superpowers, your staff members the ability, and actually get them to buy into technology, because at the end of the day, technology is going to enhance their lives. It's going to enhance their job, to do the right things, to have a nice interaction with the patients rather than being on the phone all the time, handling the same inquiries they don't want to do. Involve your team. when you're bringing software. Like John said, don't bring any software in for the next 30 days. Find out where your blocks are, where your bottlenecks are, and then implement software with your team members in mind. That's me. Thank you very much. Adam Smith, Director of Growth here at Boxley.